Hi everyone, it's Claire back again. This is part 2 of my bright blue summer compare and destash. Couldn't think of what this video was about then for a second. I'm just dazzled by all these amazing bright blues. So these are creams. I do have some similar shades in different finishes that will be coming up in part 3. And as you can see, I've got Pacific Blue, lots of similar shades. This one's slightly dusty, but it's still bright enough to be included in it. So I've actually got 9 bright blues. I don't think I'll be destashing any of them, but let's take a look. I'm going to swatch Pacific Blue and then I'll probably put it away and not wear it again till next year because I absolutely love this polish. I'm using the swatch sticks rather than the swatch wheels so that I can do some comparisons and move them around a little bit. So that is Pacific Blue by Sally Hansen. I've done a few of these comparison videos, but I think just thinking about whether or not to destash any of my bright blues, I've got to swatch them. So this one here is Damson, and it's very similar, very similar. It's like the UK version of Pacific Blue. We'll look at that a bit closer detail on the second coat. This was a polish that was sent to me. It's Miss Sporty, I think it's number 5033. It doesn't seem to have a name. And again, I can't remember who sent this to me. I'm really sorry. I think it might have been Mrs. Cromer. This is very similar actually. So you've got a good eye for Pacific Blue, but it's not quite. So that's just one coat of that one there. That's the Miss Sporty. And this one here was sent to me by Debbie, Sister Chic. This is Julie G. Cabana Boy. This has definitely got more of a kind of darker periwinkle blue. They're all going to look very similar, I think, in the camera, but that is Julie G. Cabana Boy. Trying not to get them mixed up. This one here is one of Catherine's favourites. This is Lapis Lazuli from H&M. And again, very similar, definitely comparable to Pacific Blue. Maybe a little bit more muted, but it's still a beautiful bright mid-tone blue. And this one here is slightly dustier, and this is Holla At You Boy from Sinful Colours, but it's still a fairly bright blue, or at least I think it is. It's more of a kind of not navy. It's mid-tone blue, but not bright blue, but I do like that shade. This one here is the infamous Endless Blue. I did have 2 bottles of this, but I destashed one of them or gave one of them away. This is a very bright blue, and it's a great formula. This just looks so bright on the nail. That's Sinful Colours, Endless Blue, and the 2 slightly darker ones. This is Blue Majoral. I haven't worn this probably for a couple of years, so I don't know what the formula is going to be like. This is Yves Saint Laurent, one of my high-end polishes. And again, it's a very bright blue. Formula still seems to be okay. Definitely needs 2 coats. And then finally, this has got a touch of green in it, I would say, and I think this was sent to me by George. George sent me a few Kikos, and this I think is 294 or 7. I always get confused with the Kiko numbers, but I have worn this polish. I've worn all of the polishes that I'm swatching today actually, and it is a very pretty kind of bold, bright blue. I know that the majority of these look exactly the same. So let's see what I'm very precious over this kind of colour. And even though I've got 9 of them, I don't know if I will be destashing, but I'll do a second coat on the swatch sticks and we can do some closer up comparisons, and well, let's see what happens. I've put a second coat on everything and wow, they really do look very similar. But if you look up close, this one here is Pacific Blue and this one is Damson. To me, Damson does look a little bit brighter. So there is a very, very, very slight difference between the two. I'm going to be keeping the 2 of them, of course. This is Pacific Blue, Damson, and this one here is the Miss Sporty. Again, it does look very similar to Pacific Blue here in the middle, but it's just, I don't know, a little bit darker maybe. They're all very, very slightly different from each other. This one here is Julie G, Cabana Boy, and there's just a little bit more purple, I think, in this one, just very slightly. I love this polish, it's just a fantastic formula, so I'll definitely be keeping that. And there is a difference between Pacific Blue and this is Lapis Lazuli from H&M. There's not much of a difference, but there's just a tiny little bit more purple in Pacific Blue, but not as much as there is in Cabana Boy. They really are all the same, but with just a very, very slight difference between them. I'm not going to be destashing Pacific Blue or Damson. I'm not too sure actually about the Miss Sporty. I might pass that on just because I've got so many in this shade. I'll be keeping Julie G, Cabana Boy and Lapis Lazuli just because this is a fantastic formula. It's one of Catherine's favourites and it is very, very close to Pacific Blue. And these polishes here are quite a bit darker. So this one here is Holler at You Boy. And it is a little bit dustier than Endless Blue. So I am going to keep Holler at You Boy and I am definitely going to be keeping Endless Blue. That's just so stand out on the nail, this polish. And then look how much of the Yves Saint Laurent I've used. Quite a bit of Blue Majorelle, and these aren't the best swatch sticks actually. I think they were from a Me box a long time ago. So this is Damson and this is Blue Majorelle, so it's definitely a deeper blue. And then the Kiko, I would say that this one's got a tiny bit of green there, so next to Damson, again, you can see it's quite a bit darker. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to be keeping all of these polishes. In fact, you know what, I'm also going to keep the Miss Sporty just for the purposes of comparison with Pacific Blue. So there you go, it went straight back into the collection. So I am going to be keeping all 9 of them. 6, 9, yeah, 9 of them. I do think that was quite a useful comparison though. So they're all, the first 5 here definitely, Pacific Blue, Damson, the Miss Sporty, Julie G and Lapis Lazuli, all very, very similar. This is the kind of blue that I would wear all throughout the year, so having a few bottles of this mid-tone blue shade, I'm kind of okay about that. Let me know what you think. Do you have the elusive Pacific Blue? This was a real treat that was sent over to me by Jules over in Canada. But yeah, I love this type of blue. No Destashes here today, unfortunately. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!